The next few videos, we will talk about Module 1 lecture. In our Module 1, we will cover Chapter 1 from the textbook that have some introduction about computers and programming. So that's agenda for Chapter 1. So why we need to write a program? So we need to talk about the hardware and software. So that's what we'll talk about in this video. So then we will quickly to talk about what are program and what is programming language, what are program made of. So then in other couple video, we will talk about input and output and how the programming process. This class is introduction to programming. So what is programming? And why we need the program? So you need to identify if you know these three things. Of course, you are accessing a computer to watch this video. If you major in computer science, in the future, you want to be a programmer. So to connect computer and the programmer, actually programmer is the person write instruction. That's what we call program that can make computer perform a task. So that's why in our class, you want to learn programming, you want to learn how to write a program. So programming actually means you write a program. The program contains all the instruction in the computer memory to make it do something. So right, without programmer, no program right. Without a program, a computer cannot really do anything. So before we really show you the example about a program in C++, so the next one we will talk about, do you know your computer system? So do you know what is the hardware, what is the software? When I point you something, can you identify this one is a part of the device of the hardware or it's just application as the software? So the hardware, that start first. So you need to know the hardware component. You need to know what is the central processing unit, what is the main memory, what is the secondary memory. Usually we call that storage. What is the input device, what is output device. So in this class, we all have the lecture recorded. But here I want you to pause this video and actually ask yourself, can you give one example for the 5 different hardware components we talked about above? What is CPU? What is the main memory? What is the storage? What is the input device and output device? So I believe you pause the video and answer all each part, which device belong to these 5 different categories. So then, yeah, so that we can try. So you can see here we have camera. Yeah, camera actually is the input device because you try to receive something from the user image. So then here is all the input device. You have keyboard, even your game controller, camera, scanner. So then here we have the output. Usually we say the console output. We output our information to the output device. Then you can have printer, you have speaker. So then when we talk about the CPU, CPU is the central process unit. So sometimes you heard about Pentium 3, Pentium 5, you are 5i or Pentium 7. So that's your process unit. So you will see they told you how many gigahertz, that's how fast the CPU will process. Then, right, we have the hard drive, that's the storage. So here, when we talk about the RAM, that's the memory. So that's the dynamic memory. So are you all recognize each device? So then that's the hardware part. So in this video, I won't go over everything from the PowerPoint because something I know you can just really read by yourself. Okay, so that's the more information when we talk about CPU, then we talk about the main memory. So then what they are. So then here you see you need to know what is the byte, what is the bit. Okay, usually the RAM we will say how many gigabyte, and also our hard drive we will talk about how many gigabyte. So one thing I want to talk about is when we have the memory, that's very important for these courses in the future. We will talk about when you implement a program, so you will define the variable. So specific variable, they can be an integer, they can be a floating point number, or they can be string. So no matter what kind of data type variable, they all occupy specific in the memory location. So even earlier we say the memory, the fundamental unit is bit. So the bit, I'm not sure you guys heard about before, but the bit actually just means one digit. In computer world, it's either 1 or 0. So then if you have 8 bits, then equal to 1 byte. So basically in the memory point of view, the smallest unit actually is byte. So that's why here you see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, we are using the byte. So usually we say if we have integer occupied 1 byte or 4 byte. Or usually we just say here if we're using the 1 byte for the size. So then you can see if you have number 72, they will store the 72 here in this 1 byte. But in the computer world, they are not really safe 72 because 72 is the human decimal world. Like earlier I said, computer only understand 1 and 0. So that's why 72 we will change into a sequence of the binary number. So that's the binary number you will see. So they will occupy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bytes, 8 bits. So I won't go detail how to convert decimal to the binary because supposedly this conversion you should understand in your prior course in 100. So 101, so the computer literacy. Okay, but here I just talk about the memory. So then, yeah, so the secondary memory, the storage, you all should know, they including the hardware, hard drive, and including your USB drive. So then the input device, output device, I will just let you to read by yourself. So that's the hardware part. So hardware part, to be easy to say, hardware device, actually your eyes can see the physical device. But then when we talk about the software, so what is the software? Yeah, so software actually is not visible. Actually, it's when you turn on your computer, you using your mouse, so you browse your internet. So actually, your internet browser is one kind of software. Or when we say when you turn on your computer, you have Microsoft operating system, you have Mac OS, Mac ISO system. So then they are all the operating system. So to be easy to say, actually we have the category, if we categorize software, you have system software and application software. So the system software basically is our operating system. Mostly we see this example, Windows or Mac OS, or even Google, they have that. Or some utility program. So for example, your Windows Update, your antivirus. Or some software development tools, like the IDE. Also IDE, I will talk about detail in other video. That's the integrated development environment. So that we will use for this class, how we will write a program, how we will run, how we will compile the program. So the second part for the software is application software. Actually, you guys use that every day, okay? When you open a Microsoft Office, that's the application software. When you play your computer game, that's the application software. Or any other tools, like earlier we say browser, actually is application tools. So even from your mobile phone, even we say that's the apps, but then actually they are came from the application software. So that's the software part. So then, right, in this course, when you say you want to learn computer programming, you want to major in computer science, Right, actually you want to be future, you become programmer. So mostly everything you write actually is the application software. So actually computer science students, actually mostly we are deal with the software part. Yeah, so that's our first lecture video in module 0. So don't forget, I cannot answer your question real time, but if you have any question, please make sure you write it down. You can either post in the discussion or during the Zoom meeting, I can answer your question. Or you can have those questions discussed with your classmates.